Good afternoon, guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I am very confused. I think I was telling you guys yesterday. It's like sometimes I will go to bed super late and there's no rhyme or reason for why I wake up early. Today was one of those days. Other days I can go to bed early and still wake up super late, and again, no reason for it happening. It does never seem to make sense. And then some nights, you know, I'll go to bed at a good time and still get up at a good time, like, you know. Other times, like last night, I don't think I fell asleep until like after 1 o'clock. I ended up waking up though at 8 a.m. this morning. So I only got like maybe 6 or 7 hours of sleep last night, somewhere between there. And it's just about midnight right now, but I just need to wash my face and brush my teeth and I can go to bed. So don't have a whole long nighttime routine that I need to do. But because I was up so early this morning, I actually did 2 loads of dishes because I loaded everything up that I could in the dishwasher. I still had 2 big, like, I think maybe one was a pot and one was a the strainer or something like that. And so I needed to unload the dishwasher and load it back up again later in the afternoon. Well, I guess later in the day, several hours later, once it was all done running and everything like that, because I was cleaning the kitchen, and normally I don't like to have anything in the sink when I clean the kitchen because I try and clean the sinks out and everything like that. So if there's like dishes that are stacked up in there, it makes it difficult because then I have to move them, and hopefully I'm not moving them to a clean spot already that I cleaned. So it's just a bigger pain, whereas if they're dirty, I can just load them up into the dishwasher. And so that's what I did. So everything in the dishwasher right now is dirty, which is awesome. I always like to have it that way. You know, like as soon as the dishes have been, the dishwasher has been ran, unload it and load it back up with all the dirty stuff so that nothing's sitting in the sink. You know, all the dishes that need to be washed in the dishwasher are all waiting in the dishwasher for it to be ran. So like I said, I did 2 loads of dishes today. I didn't get to any laundry today, but I don't really know that I have enough to run a full load. But on top of that too, I did clean the kitchen today, which was also really awesome. So I ended up getting everything in the you know, all the everything cleaned. The refrigerator door I got cleaned, the countertops, the stove, the oven, the microwave, the inside of the microwave, guys. That's one that when I used to clean the kitchen, I always forgot about until we got our new microwave, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I can't forget about this. Like, because it's kind of, I don't know, in my face. And like 2, I make sure that I wash down like the door and everything like that and the handle. And 2, because you can see sometimes it's supposed to be like smudge resistant or fingerprint proof or something like that, and it's not really noticeable like at all, but every once in a while I'll catch still like a glimpse of it. I actually don't know if ours was fingerprint like proof or smudge proof or something like that, but it's super easy to clean, especially compared to the other one, and because it's like right at eye level, I can just see everything that I'm cleaning in there. So I got to that. I cleaned the table, swept the floors, will vacuum the floors and mop the floors, and you know, the windows too, clean the windows in the kitchen. And normally I go through and I have a whole routine too. Like first I will do the dusting of everything, so like the light fixtures on top of the refrigerator, and or sometimes I'll wash the top of the refrigerator, you know, just like go around any pictures that are hanging up and stuff like that, wash you know, dust everything. And then I go through, and normally I do all the glass cleaner stuff. So normally sometimes I'll use a glass cleaner just on the refrigerator, sometimes the hood too. I will normally just use like window cleaner, like, because it's kind of like a multi-purpose anyway. I will do that on the hood, on the oven door, and like the inside of the oven door as well. And then normally I will use something else for cleaning the actual inside of the oven. But I'll be honest, guys, it has not been like, I turned the light on even today to make sure like I wasn't missing anything, but it really has not got that dirty. Like, we have not spilled anything in it at all. Like, I mean, I've like had to a couple times, like there might have been a crumb or something like that in there, but seriously, since we got it months ago, so I have not, it's not been like dirty on the inside at all. And granted, we haven't used it that much because again, it is the middle of summer, so we're not like trying to turn the oven on if we don't have to. Well, it's not the middle of summer, guys. I think it's pretty much almost fall at this point. We're into September now, but it's still nice and warm out. It was actually kind of hot, and I think this week is supposed to be like 85 or so, but like fluctuates between like 75 is a high and 85 on different days, so we're kind of having that like in between, but it's not, I don't think, supposed to get up to 95s like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was that we had. So now we're finally in like somewhat nicer weather, but it's still like, you can still wear a tank top and shorts and stuff like that, but you know, I'm not like freezing cold if I wear it. At the same time, it's not blazing hot out where I feel like I don't even want to be outside at all. So it's a little bit nicer. But yeah, so where was I going with this, guys? The kitchen cleaning and stuff like that. So I got all of that stuff done. Normally, like I said, I'll go through and do the Windex stuff and clean the windows, and then I will normally move on to like my surfaces. So like the stove, the countertops, the sink, the table, like after that. And then once I'm finished with all of those things, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but then I will vacuum and mop the floor. So basically, my mom used to actually, I didn't know this, she had like, her and my dad together, I'm pretty sure, have made up the entire different like employment lists. Like they have had a job in everything, like in some type of different field. Like it's really bizarre, but I think my mom said she was like a cleaning lady for somebody for like a while, and she said that the biggest thing that she learned was that you always have to work your way down. So, you know, if you're dusting and it winds up falling on the table, then you clean the table, and then that stuff gets knocked on the floor, and then you clean the floor. You know, so you're always working your way down instead of like, oh, I'm gonna do the floor first and then like, you know, clean the ceiling, and then all that stuff that you're dusting off is now all over the place. You know, so yeah, like I said, normally that's my order of how I wind up doing things. But the kitchen's normally somewhat faster. It's just I took a ton of breaks today in between cleaning the kitchen because my dad got home, and him and Jack were stained half of the lattice yesterday that we needed to put up on our bird sanctuary in the backyard. And so they stained half of it yesterday, and then they ended up staining the other half today. And Jack did like one coat on the one side, and then when my dad came home, him and Jack both did the second coat that they needed to on like that same side. They were actually able to get that done, and then they hung the lattice up. So I wanted to show you guys. I was actually either going to take a picture or possibly vlog outside, and I totally forgot because and then on top of that too, we're watching the birds because we got a bunch of sparrows. But the other thing too, guys, is that they keep coming around is the cardinals. I've seen the cardinals in the front and backyard. I saw the female cardinal like 4 times I think today, which is more than I feel like I've seen her like almost all like summer pretty much. Like I would hardly see her, and if I ever did, it was normally like super late in the afternoon, but I will see her like all of the time. And so my mom was saying too that I think with cardinals, normally like they'll raise like, you know, their young over like the summer and stuff like that, and then after that the parents are all empty nesters and you know, literally you know, they'll wind up then leaving, you know, I think more throughout the day instead of staying with like the young and stuff like that. So that was why my mom was saying that maybe we're seeing them more often, or two, maybe because it is cooler out. Because though even like earlier on, when we first really had the feeders up, I still didn't see them that often in spring and stuff like that. So that's why I was thinking like it must be like something to do with that because they don't migrate. So you know, that was why. But yeah, it was really cool to see them, and I got to see again a lot of birds today. It was mainly sparrows. I saw the male cardinal maybe once today, and again the female cardinal like 4 times. And then I saw them in the front yard, the pair of them in the front yard in the bush maybe 2 days ago or something like that, like on Monday. And then like yesterday I think I saw the female cardinal again a couple times too. So I also got everything watered for today, all of the hanging buckets and everything like that, because although it did rain yesterday, like everything was pretty much kind of dried out. All of the hanging basket plants and things like that, they need to be watered pretty much every day anyway. And also, I told you guys I didn't really think it rained that much yesterday. Some of them too are kind of shaded where, like, unless the rain is like blowing sideways, it's not going to catch the, you know, the buckets enough that they're going to wind up getting, you know, that they aren't going to need to be watered. So I did go around and make sure everything got watered today as well, because a lot of it was actually pretty dry for it if only rained yesterday. But the grass and everything actually looks really, like, you know, it got a good nice drink, because it was stinking been hot out and we haven't had any, again, rain for a really long time. So that was one of the things that we got done. The other thing, guys, is that I have been looking into, and I think we can do it in our backyard, has been like some type of water feature, some type of like fountain pond sort of thing. I really, and I think it'll bring my whole gardening full circle if we wind up doing, if I can get like some type of like water plants, like lilies, like water lilies, and, you know, some type of like tall grasses and that kind of stuff, because we've never done tall grasses anywhere really, but I just really want to have some of those, and I wasn't really sure where we were going to be able to put it, but now that we have our bird sanctuary sort of set up in the back, I actually kind of know an area that might wind up working out. So I have a couple of little ideas for some things I really want to do. We have to look into, again, how to do it a little bit more, but actually my mom, she had 3 books, I hold up 2 fingers, 3 books. I had 2 of them, that's why I think I was thinking that. One was like a how to, or all about like gardening or something like that, vegetable gardening, and one was all about like berries and like trees, I think, like more like shrubbery sort of, like fruit trees and things like that, and I think maybe just different fruits. And then the other book was about vegetables, and then she had a 3rd book. They have like probably 8 through this brand because they have them on the back of the book. But I really liked them, and I have a lot of, like, it's a lot of good information. They're kind of outdated. I don't know if they have any like new prints. They're kind of old, like probably from the at least maybe 80s or 90s. So, you know, they're still somewhat relevant. I mean, most of that stuff is still things that you're going to use to today, but you know, a lot of the like growing seasons for a lot of the fruits and vegetables and stuff like that that I learned about, and again, different, you know, like fertilizers, all that kind of stuff. It was really informative. I really like those books. I actually have them in here somewhere, I think. Yeah, those 2. It's the vegetables. The others is all about growing fruits and berries. So the 3rd one is about like water plants, I guess, and water features and stuff like that, and ponds, I think it was. And I saw it sitting in our living room for like a while now, and I was like, I kind of want to look at this book, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like so much of this stuff like makes sense, and I want to try it and everything like that. And I really want to have like a water feature my mom's been talking about for a really long time, and we were supposed to get for her, I think it was not this last Mother's Day, not the Mother's Day before that, but the one before that, we were going to get her a like fountain for the backyard, looking into this one place, and my mom really wanted to get one. And you know, we're like trying to figure out too, where will we put it in the backyard, and it's not like we're gonna get some huge big fountain thing, but you know, just like a little small fountain. And we were trying to figure out too, like, okay, well, if we did this, where are we going to wind up putting, you know, the you know, like the electric, all this kind of stuff, and that will still be a problem regardless if we wind up going with this option. But it's just like, you know, a lot of things that we obviously have to try and think about. And so I was like, well, why don't we could still do that if you wanted to, or we could try and actually do a whole pond. And my mom was kind of like, seemed like she was pretty sold on the idea too, of doing something. And I think that too, like now that she's seen like me and my dad put together like the you know, the bird sanctuary thing in the backyard, I think she's kind of sold on some of our ideas, because sometimes she's like, that just seems super outlandish. And I think that too, like when you're trying to convey something to somebody else and they don't see, you know, they can't see it the way that you're seeing it, I think sometimes they're like, no, that's probably not a good idea. And so, like, you know, I've been really into this, and I found a bunch of ideas on Pinterest, and I'm kind of convinced that it's something I want to do. Her biggest concern really is with the puppies. She is concerned, no, they're both on the floor. She is really concerned that they might try and get into it, and so we were going to do it above ground though, where we would like make basically the box, sort of like the raised flower beds that we have already, and actually make it into like a planter sort of thing, and then actually put the pond water feature actually in the backyard. So it probably will not be huge, and again, we have the you know, we have to get power to it somehow, or if we could do it solar powered too. I don't know like how much to that would wind up working, because I do know that they have solar power like fountains and stuff like that. So again, there's some options. Still looking into it, and I don't necessarily know that I had everybody's attention when I was like, this was probably close to 7 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh my gosh guys, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. I was like, I've been up since 8 a.m. and now, you know, again, I think on those days when I don't get enough sleep, that's when my brain just keeps spinning out ideas of stuff to do. I was like, okay, Kayla, you got the greenhouse that you're trying to build right now. You know, we still have one piece left now to this bird sanctuary we have to finish, which I think we're gonna get the pieces that we need for it this weekend from Menards. And so again, a handful of other things, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, so yeah, I don't know that I had everybody's attention. My mom was like, really liked it and was pretty convinced that she wanted to do it too. My dad was kind of like, I'm getting tired and need to go to bed, you know, but I think was kind of on board. And once I showed him the pictures, he's like, oh yeah, that is cool, but you know, because where we want to put it too, it just, everything seems like it was going to work out. We have a ton of rocks in our backyard we need to use, and I was like, this is the perfect way to use these. Like, we just, our area is super rocky, especially behind our house, which it used to be an alleyway back there, but then it's also just, we have a lot of rocks like on our property, and so it's just in our area in general. Something about like the glaciers that used to be here or something like that, and I guess like sort of to this area because of to like the lakes and everything like that, and it all has to do with something geological, I think. You know, so again, there's a lot back there, and I'm sure if we try and dig down far enough to like, we'd find more. So you know, but there's just a lot back there, and we're like, what are we supposed to do with all of these things? Like, you can't just throw rocks away in the garbage can. And so that's why I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to again reuse stuff that we already have that we're literally trying to get rid of, you know. And so, and we can use them actually in a water feature, you know, and stuff like that. And so I was like, this is gonna be so awesome if we can actually legitimately get this you know, whole kind of thing to work. So again, it'll be a little bit of a process. I'm actually thinking of doing 2 in the backyard, one in one spot and one in another spot, and I think it's going to be really fun and really cool and create kind of an oasis sort of thing. And it's really good too because our yard gets a lot of sunlight, and from what I was reading is that water lilies, I think, they do really well in like really full sun to like partial sun, but not really great in shaded areas. Like, they won't bloom for very long. I guess they'll still do okay, but you know, there's like a lot of benefits to actually, if you do have like a pretty full sun backyard, which ours is because we have no trees. You know, because we don't have any trees, I feel like, you know, from when I was little to now, like the backyard just felt like you know, I don't want to ever go back there. You know, again, when I was little, we had a playground sort of jungle gym thing, and you know, that was fun to be back there. We had a lot of trees, and it was like, you know, kind of a sheltered, fun little area. And now that I'm older, I'm like, it's a barren backyard, like there's nothing back here. So that's why we're trying to create it into an oasis. On top of that too, because, you know, COVID hit and we ended up being quarantined to the house for a while, and so obviously, like, not all this stuff is going to be done by this summer, but by next summer too, we will have a backyard that is fit for entertaining and so fun, and, you know, just enjoyable too, to even just by yourself be outside, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm really looking forward to like all of these projects and all this fun stuff that we're doing. So there's that. And then also too, when me and my mom were out in the backyard, we saw a ton of bats. I actually think that they were probably eating a lot of bugs. The other thing I really am convinced that I think I saw was a bunch of chimney swifts, is I believe what they're called. And I only know this because I've been reading that Illinois bird book like cover to cover. I've probably read it like 4 times now, and I never thought I was actually going to see one, because I was like, that's a weird kind of bird. Like, you know, it's like normally you don't see them land because they're up in the sky, like eating bugs and things like that, I guess. And so we saw a bunch of bats, and I was like, there's probably a ton of bugs out right now that they're enjoying. And I think the same with these birds too, which I had never really seen or heard or anything like that. So that's what I can best identify them as, because it actually, in the book, it shows you a picture of what they look like if they're flying overhead, because that's probably how you're going to see them. And so I thought that was really cool. It was kind of a difference, although we didn't attract it to our feeder. Kind of a different, unique bird that we got to see today as well. Just from being outside, like, it was kind of at dusk, so it was kind of dark out, but they were out there. There was a bunch of them too, probably, again, 5 or more. And then the bats too, like, they kind of, there was like one and then like one more, and then all of a sudden they kind of came in a cluster, and they were close to 5 of those as well. So again, I think there were some good bugs for eating tonight. But I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog and let you guys know too about what projects we will hopefully be able to actually finish this summer, because we have a lot of outdoor projects that we want to get done, but there isn't, again, a whole ton of options and things like that of what we can get done before the end of summer, because it is September right now. And obviously too, like, do we want to risk trying to put a pond in when it's just gonna, you know, we're gonna wind up having snow in probably a couple months, you know, and frost and all that kind of stuff. So is that worth it? I don't know. But is it a good idea to start getting some ideas so that we have them for next year? Probably. I will most likely show you guys though hopefully the lattice tomorrow, and then too, if we wind up getting all that stuff put in, the bird feed catcher thing that we're gonna build over this weekend as well. So I'll update you guys throughout the week, but I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see y'all over some chatty faces tomorrow. So bye guys.